Good morning to you all.
Good morning out there.
Please let us know if you can hear us and see us. Hope you're doing well. Kim was the early bird today. She was the first one here, and Sandra was the next runner-up. Hey, Marsha. Don't often see you typing in on here, honey. I'm glad you're here with us today. Melissa from Hawaii. I'm glad you're here this morning. And Morgan, I'm glad to see you. Okay. And boy, you guys have been coming on in here. Hey, Sissy and brother-in-law, and there's Deb, and there is Phyllis Kendrick. Oh, we're glad to have you. Hey, Jill. Hey, Bernie.
Everybody out there today.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys are with us. Hey, Nina, I'm glad you're with us this morning.
Good to have you with us.
And Alicia, I'm glad you're here, darling. It's a good morning. I want to read something to you since you're all already in here. Y'all came in a little bit early because I came on a little early this morning. I felt like it'd been, you guys were waiting on us. So I'm going to read a little bit out of this book. And I'm not sure, let's see who wrote this book because they don't know who the author is. But it's called Know Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that? All right. It's just a little bitty book. And actually, good morning, Judy. Good morning, Adele. Good morning, Evelyn Hicks. And good morning, Tamara. I'm glad you guys are here. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Good to see all of you.
So
got a whole team today. Oh, big congregation.
Yeah, big congregation. But yeah, so for those who just came in, this is Know Yourself. Don't know who the author is. I do know that the author, the
publisher,
the one who wrote this was in the Sufi religion and Muslim. I do know that. But I don't know much about him after that. So here, I'm going to read this, and I think it's going to bless you. And it starts like this. Whoever knows their self knows their Lord. Isn't that good?
Mm-hmm.
That's good already. All right. Praise belongs to God, before whose oneness there is no before, unless the before is He, and after whose singleness there is no after, unless the after is He. He is, and there is not with Him any before or after, above or below, closeness or distance, how or where or when, time or moment or duration, manifested existence or place. And he is now as he has always been. He is the one without oneness and the single without singleness. He is not composed of name and named, for his name is him, and his named is him. And there is no name or named other than him. He is the first without firstness, and the last without lastness.
That's good.
He is the apparent without appearance,
God.
and the hidden without hiddenness. I mean that he is the very existence of the letters of the names, the first and the last, the apparent and the hidden. There is no first or last, apparent or hidden, except him. Without the letters which form these divine names becoming him, and without him becoming these letters. Understand this so as not to make the mistake of those who believe in incarnation. He is not in anything, and no thing is in him, whether entering into him or coming out of him. It is in this way that you should know him, and not through theoretical knowledge, reason, understanding, or conjecture, nor with the senses, the external eye, or interior sight, or perception. No one sees him except himself. No one reaches him except himself. And no one knows him except himself. He knows himself through himself, and he sees himself by means of himself. No one but he sees him. His veil is his oneness, since nothing veils him other than him. His own being veils him. His being is concealed by his oneness without any condition. Oh, that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
He is his prophet. His prophet is he. His messenger is he. His message is he. And his word is he. He sent himself from himself, through himself, to himself.
Read that again. Read that again.
Oh my God, that's so good. Oh.
That's what he's been showing us for years. Read that part again. Himself, being himself.
He sent himself from himself, through himself, to himself. There is no intermediary or means other than him.
That's right.
There is no difference between the sender, that which is sent, and the one to whom it is sent.
That's right.
The very existence of the prophetic message is his existence. There is no existence to any other who could pass away or have a name or be named. Because of this, the prophet, God bless him and give him peace, said, whoever knows their self knows their Lord. He also said, I knew my Lord through my Lord. You are not you, but you are him, and there is no you. It's not that he enters into you, or that you enter into him, or that he comes out of you, or that you come out of him. That doesn't mean that you have being and you are qualified by this or that attribute. What is meant is that you never were and never will be, whether through yourself or through him or in him or with him. You have neither ceased to be, nor are you existent. You are him and he is you, without any of these imperfections. If you know your existence in this way, then you know God. And if not, then not. Wow.
That's good.
I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and
That's
on,
good.
but that is the epitome of what we have been saying.
Now, it's strange that you would read that because the last 30 minutes I was sitting at the table and he wanted me to go back and tell you guys what happened to us that put us in this pathless path and talk to you about some of the substance of things in heaven and in the spirit world that is made out of the spirit world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why we have trouble seeing God is because he is so close,
Yes.
and his closeness
Yes.
is at a place where it's hard to turn your mind around and look at it.
Yes. And then in that I just read said he is veiled by his oneness.
Yeah. Now, here's what happened to us. It happened to me first. We were dating each other. And we started reading some old hymns out of a songbook.
I remember that week very well.
Blessed assurance, Jesus mine, oh, what a foretaste of glory divine.
We just felt drawn, didn't we? Mm-hmm.
And she had asked me to go to church with her, and we was upstairs, laying on the bed, and was reading, and we were singing. So
now remember, we were party animals at this time.
Yeah, that's right. Drinking, booze, moonshine, all that
Partying
stuff.
hard.
But I had cut back just a little bit.
Yes, you had. You had.
And I went home that night, and I had no idea what was going to happen that night to take place.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I would say the Lord's Prayer, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, before I got into bed. It was really cold.
Yeah, we weren't married yet.
No.
Right.
I got in the bed. Over in the night, I had the same experience the near-deaf people have, but I was not sick.
But you didn't die.
I didn't die.
Well, you didn't die physically.
Physically. I didn't know anything had happened to me until the next morning when I got up. The whole thing was visualized and holographically projected from the holograph machine in the back of our heads. At the time,
in other words, simplify, that means what was in front of you, out in front of you, actually was being projected from within inside of you.
That's right.
Yes, it is nothing outside.
I did not ask for this. I remember that what did ask for it was my invisible self. Let me tell you something.
A part of you that you didn't even know.
Yeah. Now you guys are watching and listening to us now. There is a multiple layers of you in your other than you self that is inside and outside of you at the same time. I'm giving you somewhat of a science of the way you're made. Most of the people that I've studied and investigated into near-death experiences, a lot of them don't see they are one with God,
right,
and is him because of this closeness that is hard for you to turn your head around and look at your eye. Your eye can't see the eye.
It can't see itself.
The scale cannot weigh itself.
The only way an eye can see itself is if it stands out in front of it and sees back at it.
But something has to happen.
Exactly. So that means, like you said, that holographic projection that comes from us, that we perceive as something separate, is really us.
It has taken 50-some years for us to come to this point in earthly time and finite time. But in God, it's the same day. Do you know you guys are in the same day of the Lord on the earth that originally was 2021 years ago? You're still here.
There's only one day.
There's only one.
There's no other day.
So here I am. She asked me to go to church with her, and the second time I said yes. not knowing that it was God that was talking to himself in both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. I got up.
Drawing himself to himself.
Yeah. I got up that morning, I put my tie on, and I looked in the mirror. And it all come back, all at once. It come back. I come out of my body, and I turned around. That was my real self, and looked at myself in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I moved my right hand, I was sitting up in the bed, and it was cold. I was sitting up in the bed, and I moved my right hand in the physical realm, and in the spirit realm, my hand moved the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I was in 3 dimensions. I was outside my body, inside the bed, watching the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was 3-dimensional being, and all of us are made like that.
And you know now that was watching is who you really are.
The real me. The real me was not so much me in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
It was not me that's standing outside the bed. It was not me that was remembering or recollecting anything. The real me was the observer.
Yes.
Watching.
Yes.
Now that is the part of you that is eternal,
Mm-hmm.
infinite,
Mm-hmm.
the watcher
Mm-hmm.
of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't really dream. There's a part of the mind that does.
Yes. Yes.
All you do is look at it, because you can. If you were to have a dream and come back the next day and say, "Tell me what your dream was," there's a part of you that can tell me that was the watcher.
Yes. Yes.
The observer.
And the experiencer, but the experiencer was not you.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
were watching the experience.
I was watching the experience.
And watching how the experiencer was experiencing and felt it.
So I was standing in the mirror, and I put this tie on, and I was getting ready to go in a Botany 500 pinstripe blue suit, and that was the only suit I had. I got up that morning. I was choked with tears. I couldn't talk. My aunt asked me, said, "Do you want to eat?" I said, I don't think they knew what was going on with me. And because I come in 12, 1 o'clock at night after leaving her, and I would get in bed and sleep the next morning. And then after a while,
got ready and left the house.
when I got ready, I didn't even eat anything. I got up, I'd go to her house.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 years, 2.5 years, I saw her every day. Never missed a day. So here we go. I noticed that somebody was watching me over the top of my head. So I don't know. I didn't know near what I know now. At the time, I couldn't read, and the Bible, the songs that we had, she was helping me with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, this man was watching me on my left side, so I turned my attention.
You noticed someone was watching.
Yeah, he got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked around, sweethearts, and it was, now I had, in the physical, I would say that you would say now, me talking to your physical ear, you would say, you never met Jesus. You never met God. But that's not true. Everybody on this planet, I don't care, from the president to his president's mama, his daddy, granddaddy, uncle, niece's boy, everybody came from God.
Well, let's go further. Based on what we just read, there is no one on this earth but God.
That's right.
So that there are only those objects that have believed they are autonomous and apart from God that think they're here, and is only God here. I want to read something else.
Yeah,
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, this is a little short story, but I think it bears repeating. It says, one of the students of the shack was in retreat on a mountain. A snake came near him, and he tried to grab hold of it. The snake bit him, and his limbs began to swell. The shack came to know about this and sent for his student. So this was, I guess, a guru and his and his followers. He then said to him, "Why did you grab hold of the snake so that it bit you?" And the student replied, "Oh, master, you yourself said that there is nothing but God. On seeing the snake, I saw only God. Plucking up courage, I grabbed hold of it.
Mhm.
The shock said, when God manifests himself to you under the aspect of terrifying power, run away.
Mhm.
Don't approach him, otherwise the same thing will happen to you again. Then he sat him down and said to him, hold back from acting so boldly until you know him perfectly. After that, he recited some invocations and blew on him, and the swelling went down, and the student was healed.
Mhm.
God appeared as the snake, and that's what the guru was saying to the student. When you see God appearing to you in a terrifying power, run away. But it is always God appearing.
That's right.
It's always God appearing.
Here's a good one for you. Salvation and getting saved is not the translation of what we've been taught in religion.
Mm-hmm.
Salvation and getting saved is God playing a game that he's not you, then turn around and search for himself and find himself in your form.
And
that's the fullness
yes,
of God
yes.
right there.
To accept that there is nothing here but God. That's a big leap for some people.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But it is still true.
We have been simmered, tenderized, and baked and turned over on both sides, browned on both sides, and fashioned in a complete state of rest.
Yes.
Of what we're telling you. It's not about me talking to you, false doctrine, or missing God and all that kind of stuff. That does not exist.
No.
Once you wake up to this that we're speaking to, you're not going to wake up because I talk. You're not going to wake up because I'm teaching. You're not going to wake up because of what I said. You're going to wake up because it is what God is.
It's time, and it's
time.
And you're right for it.
I used to think that when God showed me something that I'm supposed to go out over the world and tell everybody, and I wanted to preach all over the world, but I found out that God does not come up slack in his beingness. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. This man was watching me. I couldn't talk much that morning because I was choked with tears. I was full, emotionally full. Mm-hmm. This man, I looked up from the waist up, and he was up over top of me.
It was like a bust, up over him, and that's what he's trying to describe. That he
just
saw,
like her hand over my head,
he
like
saw
that.
The being up over him, looking at him.
Now here I am putting the tie on. I just came out of my body. I didn't at that time. No one in where we were was talking about near-death experiences. If they were not in my nothing about out-of-body travel.
We're in the Bible Belt. Nobody was talking about any of that.
We always thought that anybody had out-of-body traveled. It's the devil.
All we knew was
not true.
All we knew was the Bible and get saved, go to church. That's all. That's all we knew.
Preach and get emotional with it. Fall out on the floor and spit cotton balls
and get happy.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the gist of it.
Well, here we go. This man that was looking at me, I had never seen him physically in the flesh. And if I saw him on the street physically in the flesh, I wouldn't know who he was. But this time, I saw a tangible being over my left shoulder, head up, and I can still see it now. Yeah. And I instantly recognized Jesus. Now, let me tell you something about this. You know, we got people in the church that say, lying spirits and deceiving spirits and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Let me tell you something about Christ.
Fear-based stuff.
That is an illusion of the ego and a misplaced saying. If Jesus Christ, then they say, you know, God, Satan can appear as an angel of light. Let me tell you something about your qualifications of discernment. The discernment of the fact that you can be just as dry as a crack of juice with no seasoning at all. Without salt. If Jesus Christ or an angel ever appeared to you, immediately you don't even have to. You can hate God if you want to, and you will still recognize him because he carries, and with him in beingness, something about him that instantly make an atheist recognize him or unbeliever recognize him without even any prior information of who he is.
let's go back to what we were saying, what I read.
Mm-hmm.
And Sonette said it on Tuesday night. She
Mhm.
said when there was years ago, the devil appeared to her as a green
Mhm.
monster. Remember,
Mhm.
she said
Mhm.
that, a green demon. And then she asked, what is it and why was it there? And it said, and she found out it was her. So there is
Mhm.
nothing else. So if you, when you saw what you saw, the bust of
Mhm.
this man
Mhm.
looking at you, and you were consciously aware of it, it was your higher self appearing to itself.
Yeah, it was time for that was already in every
To
man
wake up, to wake up,
to come to the forefront. And this is what you call being chosen of God. If that's the case, every one of us are chosen.
everyone. He said, no one sees him except himself.
There it is.
No one teaches him except himself.
That's right.
No one knows him except himself.
That's it.
He knows himself through himself. He sees himself by means of himself. So it was him looking at himself as a higher self.
Mm-hmm.
So you were at that point believing that you were a contracted state of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and believing that you were this you
Mm-hmm.
that grew up in the bootlegger's house.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, you woke up to who you were, which was the being that was over your head.
God woke up to himself,
Yeah,
as being me.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
the me that was seeing this was him.
And even then, you didn't have a full understanding.
That's
of
right.
it. You understood just a minimal amount of it.
Now, here I go. I'm in tears and my face is hot, burning hot. I could see the heat waves coming from my, and he
literally was, when he got to me, he was still fanning.
Yeah, you remember that Sunday morning at the table.
He was still fanning your jacket like this, just fanning.
I said, whoo, 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 and I just cried.
Yeah. At the waking up and the true seeing.
It's like God was asleep and God woke himself up. Like in the hinder part of the ship in the scriptures, he woke up.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So before that event, you were a limited awareness. You were still awareness, but it was a contracted state of awareness, a conditioned state of awareness, a programmed state of awareness. And when you had that event to happen, to wake up to that self that was not that self that was not limited, not conditioned, not programmed.
Oh, he didn't have to do it, but he did. He didn't have to do it, but he did. Jesus woke himself up that morning and started on his way. He didn't have to do it, but he did. He woke himself up.
And he didn't wake himself up as Jesus. He woke himself up as Clifton.
That's right.
Yes.
Did y'all hear that?
Yes.
Did you hear what she just said?
He woke himself up as Clifton. Yes.
The glory of God in that room. For the first time, I experienced what it was like for a room that was already filled with him was recognized by him.
Yes. Yes.
My Lord speaketh unto my lords. You guys out there now, Miss Judy, you are his exact image.
Yes. Yes,
with or without permission.
Yes, we all are. We all are.
Oh, what an experience.
And we've all had our own customized wake up event.
Yeah, custom. So I am all of a sudden.
For some of us, it's a very gradual thing. But it's not something that happens like this.
Somebody asked me, why did he choose you? I asked the same question back to them. Why did he choose all of us?
Exactly.
I'll tell you why. To reveal himself in.
He chose himself.
This is the glory of God. This is what casts out devils. This is what heals the sick. This is what raised the dead. This is what causes life to be what it is. This is what challenges has to face. Do you know everything in your life, this life, his life, our life, set up challenges for only God can deal
Yes.
with in our form. And the sooner we recognize this, the easier we will see us and Him going through everything.
And let's go past that.
Glory
Let's
be to
jump
God.
past even that.
Yes,
It
go
is
ahead.
not to deal with,
Mhm.
it's to bring us to a
Mhm.
full awakening.
Full assurance,
Everything is happening for us
confidence.
to come to a full awakening.
I see God in this broadcast, this telecast, looking and hearing Himself. And the key to this is not being separated. Wake up, God, and look at yourself. For it is now the morning of resurrection.
This is what is the good news.
God
is that God has fixed it. It's fixed already. That's the good news.
I remember I had a dog one time when I was little. That dog broke his leg. It was so hurt. And the first thing as a little boy I thought of, that was Him, that was God. Take 2 sticks, get some cloth, tear it in strips, and tie that little dog's leg up. And I did. He hobbled around there. And one day, I can see God. I decided to take it off and see if he could walk. And he did.
I had the most, I got to tell him about my experience this morning.
Tell him about that.
I got up and walked baby girl. So since hubby's having trouble with his back, I walked baby girl this morning. About 6:30, we got up and got out. And there's a spot in our neighborhood where deer comes through all the time. We see deer coming through, and I happened to spot a deer. It wasn't a big one. It was just a medium-sized deer, and it moved, but it didn't run. And normally it would stand really, really still, but this time it didn't because it had a reason for moving. And it started to move across this neighbor's yard and was still watching me as it did it. And just when it got to a certain point, 2 little baby deer came out, and they actually got up under a belly and started sucking. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And they stood there. She did that. She stood there and let them do that while I watched. And we were only about 10 to 12 feet away. And it was the most beautiful thing. And I said, hello, babies. And they just stood there and looked at me.
You will not ever be anything else but a Christ.
Yeah. Yes.
You are and have always been the eternal Christ in your true self. Go along with this just for a second. Remove the mind from it.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know that when Jesus appeared to me that He was holographically projecting Himself from in me. Now, I'm going to caution you about this. Yes. I had not confessed Him as my Savior. I had not confessed that He was my Lord. I didn't even ask for Him to come inside of me. It took years to find out what I'm getting ready to tell you. He is inside of everybody already. The church would blast me, kick me, bust me, and hang me for saying this.
And when you say inside, you don't mean that God as a separate being is inside. God is the very essence and life of whatever is in this body.
I'm not talking. That's right.
It is not a separate being in this body. There's only one being in this body, and that being is God.
I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
My sweetheart Judy said this. She said, I asked the Holy Spirit recently in a meditation, who are you? What are you? He said, I am you, my beloved.
Yes.
Thank you, Judy.
Yes.
Yes, that is
Judy,
true.
Honey, oh God.
And God will always tell you the truth.
You are a truth that cannot be explained, but only function. You are the moving, living, tangible proof of truth. You're the truth producer.
Okay. Jill said this, and that's so true. Jill said the season finale of the TV series Loki was called He That Remains. And that's true. I watched it this week. It has pieces of these truths. I was amazed that Disney keeps exposing God in palatable pieces to their audience. And that's the truth. And what we're seeing is Hollywood is leaking it out. And like you said, in little bitty pieces so that people can actually digest it.
I asked God from that moment on to let me see Jesus, let me see the Christ. I didn't know that the way he was going to do this for over 50 years is constantly appear in front of me as me in the form of other people.
Kept giving you experiences, spiritual experiences that pointed to the fact that he was you. I mean, over and over again, he did that with both of us. Kept giving us spiritual experiences that imparted the knowledge and the understanding, the knowing, I should say, that he is us.
Now here it comes. This is the second coming of Jesus Christ. Because this second coming of Jesus Christ, if there is anything that appear in the sky or not, it does not change anything as to who we really are, looking at ourselves, coming to ourselves from a place inside of us that has always existed and will never cease to be.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
We've said enough here for you guys to take to the table and assimilate it.
It's true.
You're going to shake your head in awe 1,000,000 times a day in the spectacle, panoramic cinemascope, holographic projection, sounds and movie of everything. Even evil is a holographic projection from inside of us. Everything that God is and God placed and everything that God will ever be is wrapped up in you. Now here we go again. I got in my car. I'm going up the street crying and waving at people. Wasn't nobody on the street. All my street buddies was gone. And I'm waving my hand, and this man looking over from me, he had taken his hand and stuck it in his chest, opened his chest up, and let me see his heart.
Yeah.
The heart was broken into 1,000,000 pieces, but yet it was still physical. Red, yellow, orange, gold, and blue fire. Let me see him. And then when I looked again, he had taken that same, the reason why I was fanning at her house, because he went through my clothes and opened up my chest, and bam, his heart was inside, and I was fanning it like this because the heat was just burning.
Now, I want to bring clarity for you.
Yeah, go ahead,
because
please.
I saw this when you said that the other day. I saw what truly happened.
Okay.
He exposed his heart. And then did you actually see him put his heart inside you?
From my recollection, let's say it like this.
Or was it just there?
The recollection is 2, 3, 4, 5 things took place. It was there, and it was put there. It was there, and I saw it. Okay. It was there before I saw it. It was all of that. That's
what I understood. That what he did was he exposed what was already inside of you.
Now let me share this with you. He said recently, tell everybody you meet. Tell everybody, regardless of their lifestyle, the drunkest drunk, the most addicted drug dealer, tell every last one of them that he is inside of them, and his heart is their heart. He said, tell them I am in you.
I feel like I need to read this again. Okay, some came in last or later and didn't hear it, and I want them to benefit from it.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it okay?
I'll wait.
I'm reading from this book, and some of you weren't here, but I want you to get it. So I'm going to read it again. And I think all of us can really benefit from hearing it again. And it's coming from a book called Know Yourself. Whoever knows their self knows their Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Praise belongs to God, before whose oneness there is no before, unless the before is He,
Mm-hmm.
and after whose singleness there is no after, unless the after is He.
Mm-hmm.
He is, and there is not with Him any before or after, above or below, closeness or distance, how or where or when,
Mm-hmm.
time or moment or duration, manifested existence or place. And He is now as He has always been. He is the one without oneness,
Mm-hmm.
and the single without singleness. He is not composed of name and named, for His name is Him, and His named is Him. And there is no name or named other than Him. He is the first without firstness, and the last without lastness. He is the apparent without appearance, and the hidden without hiddenness. I mean that He is the very existence of the letters of the names, the first and the last, the apparent and the hidden. There is no first or last, apparent or hidden, except Him. Understand this so as not to make the mistake of those who believe in incarnation or believe in their flesh, their bodies. He is not in anything, and no thing is in Him, whether entering into Him or coming out of Him. It is in this way that you should know Him, and not through theoretical knowledge, reason, understanding, or conjecture, nor with the senses, the external eye, or interior sight, or perception. No one sees Him except Himself.
Mm-hmm.
You did not see Jesus. No one sees Him except Himself.
Mm-hmm.
The you that saw was Himself.
Mm-hmm.
No one sees Him except Himself. No one reaches Him except Himself. And no one knows Him except Himself. He knows Himself through Himself, and He sees Himself by means of Himself. No one but He sees Him. His veil is His oneness, since nothing veils Him other than Him.
Mm-hmm.
His own being veils Him. His being is concealed by His oneness, without any condition.
Concealed. Mm-hmm.
No one other than He sees Him. No sent prophet, perfect saint, or angel brought close knows Him. His prophet is He. His messenger is He. His message is He. And His word is He. He sent Himself from Himself, through Himself, to Himself. There is no intermediary or means other than Him. There is no difference between the sender, that which is sent, and the one to whom it is sent. The very existence of the prophetic message is His existence. Because of this, the prophet, God bless him and give him peace, said, whoever knows their self knows their Lord. He also said, I knew my Lord through my Lord. What the prophet pointed out by that is that you are not you, but you are Him, and there is no you. It is not that He enters into you, or that you enter into Him, or that He comes out of you, or that you come out of Him. What is meant by that, you never were and never will be, whether through yourself or through Him, or in Him or with Him. You have neither ceased to be, nor are you existent. You are Him and He is you, without any imperfections. If you know your existence in this way, then you know God. And if not, then not.
Read what Sister Sipes said about what you read.
Kim said this, amen. My grandmother Emma would tell the alcoholic drug users, just everybody, that God was there and never left. She was an earth angel and loved all unconditionally.
Let me share something with you again. God appeared to me and to my wife and showed us what his clothes was made out of and the way they were designed.
The actual way they were woven.
Put together.
Yeah.
Your physical clothes relates to your physical body. Jesus' physical robe or clothes that he wore related to his physical body. But if you notice, if you wear something long enough, the physical smell of your physical fleshly body will permeate and get the smell of the body odor into the cloth.
It sure will. It sure will.
When Jesus appeared to us, again, holographically projected from inside of us.
As himself.
As himself. He left the missing pieces for us to investigate. And here's what I found out. When I saw the council room and the table, the wood was made out of him.
Yes.
When I looked at his robe and she looking at him the same time.
It was made.
Now we're talking about something that happened 50 some years ago.
Yep. 53 years.
53. That's right. 53 years ago, the same thing. It's just like it's just fresh today. Jesus let us see exactly the threads, the yarn, and the fabric that his clothes was made out of.
What was interesting that he flashed that in front of our faces, magnified millions of times. And he saw it as a square. I saw it as a round. So even then, God took into consideration that even though we are one, we still have our individual uniqueness.
The soulness.
Our uniqueness. You will always have your individual uniqueness. God does not remove that from you. In fact, God uses that.
His clothes and the threads was made out of his body. Everything in the universe and heaven and earth is made out of him. But because of the blindness of the veil over our face,
veiled by his own oneness.
By his own desire, oneness.
So everything we see and have perceived and everything we have encountered is God, but because we see it as a million things, it is concealed. God is concealed.
With this, he revealed to me how to see him in everything.
That's exactly right.
I am not here to debate with you about what the Bible said.
No.
I'm not here to debate with you whether it was past truth, pertinent truth, or future truth. I'm not here to debate with you about the King James Version. I'm not here to debate with you about the Course in Miracles. I have read some of the Course and touched more of the Bible. I did not see Jesus for me to come to you and fuss with you of who is right and who is wrong. I'm not interested in that. Right. I finally got to the place where I'm not even interested in telling anybody except for by inspiration what happened to us. This is what got us traveling. In the first phase of our life, he said, yep, first phase. And we are now in what is called the second phase.
Yeah, maybe the last phase.
Maybe the last phase.
Yeah.
Everybody that I know that see him will never forget him.
No, because it is you.
Listen, I want you guys to know that I'm saying this to you because I want you to know that Jesus Christ, God himself, is sitting on the other side of this picture in your form, listening to himself. And you know what? A lot of people wouldn't think it was God until he said, well, John 17, John 22, John 9:49.
Well, we wouldn't, a lot of people, a lot of us are not seeing who we are because we're too identified with our feelings, our moods, and our thoughts. And even those things that is still God in its contracted state of believing that it is a body mind. And so it still doesn't take away from the
That's
truth
right. That's
that
right.
that is still God.
Now I'm gonna put something on you right now. Now this is not for the faint of heart or faint of mind to hear this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He showed me how his unconditional self is. Jesus brought deliverance to people out of his identity. In the Bible, said he cast out demons by his word, but he cast them out by his reality. He did it in his identity. Who he was, who he is, automatically disturbs darkness. Now, then I found out in unconditional love, you and I are the unconditional love of God. We can now use that unconditional love to forgive, to love, and to release, allow, and let go anybody.
That's true.
That's not a homosexual, lesbian,
Murderer.
anybody in the earth that you can think of that maybe. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. They used to tell us a long time ago, said, no man can come to God till they clean up. Excuse my pronunciation.
Yeah,
I said, well, hell, who going to be clean? Who can clean up? Enough to cover the love that God is in your own independent identity. It's no way you're going to do it. You're going to have to go back to divine love.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go back to supernatural love because it ain't in your bones.
Yes.
Crossbones Jones.
Yes.
It ain't in your bones to love. It ain't in your bones to love a murderer, a thief, or somebody that just killed your wife or killed your son. Ain't no way in a ham sandwich.
But if you have done that, if you have forgiven and loved that way, that was God.
And it's going to always be God.
It will always be.
You are never, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to say it like that. You'll never be without God.
Never, ever. Never.
The worst man in prison right now, the man that's on death row, God is there.
Do you realize that some of the men and women who've been on death row, that has been their place of awakening?
Yeah.
Because at that point, when they realized that they were no longer going to be living, they came to the end of who they believed themselves to be. And at that point is where they woke up. Some actually wake up at the point of being executed.
God's forgiveness is your forgiveness, forgiving himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I need to take a moment to do something practical here. Jill has posted how to give, and I appreciate Jill doing that. There's one thing that she's still posting that we used way back before we got other ways of doing it. The use app button on Facebook is no longer used for donations. The use app button, I don't see it when I go on Facebook. Cornerstone Facebook, so I don't want to mislead you. I don't think that use app button is still taking people to the donations link. So I don't know if that's true or not. Jill, please check that out. And if it's not still usable, let's not put that in there any longer. But in the meantime, I will put up how to do that. And I appreciate what she continues to do. She's helping us out so much. I want to make sure that I do put that up for you. But going back to what you said, that essence and life of God is in every man and woman and child. And it's just waiting for a moment, an event to wake up.
Finding out who you are as an eternal being is called letting go of all and everything that is not us. That's enlightenment right there. Finding out who you are as an eternal being. But now here's something. You must take a chance on finding out who you are as an eternal being without going through the organizational study or investigating into the church. The
Mhm.
church do not believe, and just not all of them now. The church do not believe that you can have eternal life except it be a gift from God. If that's the case,
And you're right, it is not all of them. You're speaking specifically of the evangelical church.
one of those that who have
Mhm.
problem with it.
Mhm.
What I'm telling you now that we are eternal beings with or without death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. That's what I'm telling you. Before Jesus ever went to the cross, the people that he was around was eternal beings. If they were not, then how can you go to hell and spend eternity there in hell without being an eternal being?
Right.
So that eternal, it may be eternal for hell, eternal for heaven. I don't care which one it is. You are still eternal. And the church would argue with me about this because they would say, you are in error. I am not in error, and I know I'm not. I used to be scared of it, but I am not in error because I know that everybody, even the people in hell, can't die, but they continue to die in their eternal self. So that's it. And in the 16th chapter of Luke, you read the rich man and Lazarus, you're going to find out that both of them could see each other because they were eternal.
True, true.
One in hell, one in paradise. So now, what's the deal? It ain't no deal. And you know what? You are not going to make a deal with God just because you interpret the scriptures the way your religion or your law or your 10 commandments say.
Mm-hmm.
I am interested in peace, not argument.
True.
Now, it's the same way about this thing about praying in tongues. Some people say you can't have speak in tongues unless there's an interpreter. And the Bible plainly tells you that you are the interpreter of your own tongues.
And some people who are Christians never ever spoken.
Never ever spoke, and they still
don't, and they will never.
Never, may not ever. You can, you can buy shoes all day long with no tongue in it.
So all you're talking about are tools that we use as spiritual disciplines, and they're all varied.
I was told that I didn't have God all the way until I spoke. I did what they said in the church, and I realized after years later, I done everything that needed to be done. Don't need to do no more. If I didn't do it like they did it or they wanted, they said it wasn't real. Lies and garbage.
So, well, all you're saying is that you pulled away from the tribal mentality.
Yeah.
And so
now, respectfully, I wouldn't. What is she saying?
What are you reading?
You read right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, read it.
Do you know what it's saying?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Okay, there it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I don't go for that, being an alternate identity. What my expression is here is God does not hate them. There's no hate in him.
For any of them.
He accepts them the way he or they are.
Yes.
We have a problem with that.
Yeah.
In our human self, in the human mind.
Yes.
I know that we've been taught. See, I used to think that if a person committed suicide, they go straight to hell. That's not true. I've been over on the other side and I've seen where they go. They go wherever their consciousness is convinced of.
Exactly.
But that they are still eternal.
Yes. So now,
okay,
our time is up.
Our time is up.
We can't address everything.
And I want you guys to know that this experience of being with the Christ that is in your form in our class today, we are mystics who speak mystical identities, personalities, and events.
Yeah.
What we're talking about does not take faith. It is only facts.
Yes. I wanted to, our time is up, so I need to deal with these practical issues.
Okay, go ahead.
And thank you, Vincent from California. I'm glad you're with us this morning. He said that the app button is gone on the Facebook page. And I thought it had been, I thought it had disappeared. He said you can simply go to the website link and you can still donate.
Yeah, yes. Please help us out. Please.
And those of you who are in other countries, and know that they can't always use the On Realm link that we had originally on our website, but now there is a PayPal link that you do not have to have a PayPal account for, that you can donate directly to Cornerstone through that link as well. Also, it's just really simple now to give. It's really simple now to give. You can do it by texting CLC Greensboro to 73256, or you can do PayPal.me/cornerstone35. You don't have to have a PayPal account. And then you can go to the website. You can hit the donation buttons there. Or if you're just old school, you can mail it in to P.O. Box 36259 Greensboro 27416. So I want you guys to avail yourself of that. And Pastor, of course, we receive our donations through Cash App. Most times you guys have used that. And thank you so much. Some of you done that already this morning. Thank you. And that's $ASALYC. So we had a good session today.
Yes, I think so too. And there's more. There's more. There's more. And
Jill's reminding us that Tuesday at 7, we will be here at for another life class. And also on Thursday at 2, I'll be interviewing Oliver and Yolanda, getting them ready for their live. I think it's a live TV show they're going to be doing. And I'm going to be interviewing them on Thursday at 2. And I've already posted that on Facebook for you guys who, in case you want to know more about it. But we're going to do a great interview with them so that we can kick off their program with a bang. And thank you, Jill, for reminding me of that. Thank you so much, honey. I didn't remember that. And you guys, I want you to have a wonderful week. Melissa, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
We're supposed to talk to Melissa tomorrow.
Okay. I didn't know that.
This is, I don't know if it's the same Melissa, but there's another Melissa we're supposed to talk to tomorrow. The one in Hawaii. Melissa Francis, are you the one that's in Hawaii or you're not? I think it's a different
let us know right quick.
Yeah, let us know.
Just a second. Let us know.
Yeah. Just let us know. Type it in if you would. In the meantime, we love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful. Yes, that's her. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. We got to go find something to eat.
Yeah.
Because I didn't cook. Cook. All right, Melissa.
That's me. She said, that's her. Thank you, darling. Thank you so much, all of you. I bless you with the blessings of God. I sanctify you with the sanction of God. And I heal you with the healing presence of God and the beingness of God. I adore the Christ in you, looking at the Christ in us 24/7.
Yes. We love you guys, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.